Howdy, 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 everyone. Tad Stevens on the Micro Success Secrets podcast, where we focus on business, psychology, and marketing, and how you can use that in your business daily and long term. Today, I am talking with Rosie Guagliardo, who is the founder of Inner Brilliance Inner Brilliance Coaching, LLC, and has loved being a certified life and career coach for 14 years. She works with high-achieving people to help them discover an easier way of living where they can experience results for their life and career with more joy daily. Rosie, thanks for being on the show. How you doing? And let me know if I missed anything.
No, nice to see you, Tad, and be on the show. No, you got it right on the money there. I really like working with individuals who are high achievers, and I just appreciate how they're constantly striving, to achieve a great life, but it might seem a little bit out of their grasp, right? And they can be left feeling a little overwhelmed, maybe even a little anxious or burnt out. And I've just always felt like I could appreciate that because I was one of those people. And until I realized the moment where I was actually pursuing someone else's definition of success and I was sort of running myself ragged trying to attain it, I said, okay, I have to find a different way. And I felt like I did a new way of living. And now I walk my clients through the process that I started and tried for myself. And I just feel so much more fulfillment these days in my career. I feel like my relationships are healthier and happier. And I just feel like a healthier version of myself.
Super, excellent. And that really works or goes well into the first question. So let's get going. If you could go back in time and you could change one life or business decision, or if you have two you want to talk about, that's fine too. But if you could change a life or business decision, first off, would you change it? And if you would change it, what would you change it to?
What I would do differently is I would be a bit bolder in my career change. So by that, I mean, I was in advertising and marketing for 18 years, and I decided to become a coach. That's the short version of the transition, but that basically happened. And it happened right before the recession in 2007, where I started my business. So I was putting myself out there and building my coaching business on the side, and I decided to stay in my advertising and marketing job for stability. And to be honest, I wasn't really touting the coaching business because I wanted to make sure that my day job knew I was committed to them, because I really was giving 100%. That being said, what happened was I almost treated the coaching business I was building as truly as the side hustle, or almost like I wasn't being bold in communicating what I did or what I could offer. So if I could go back in time, I would still probably do both, and the transition felt right, that time period where I was doing both. I would just have put a little bit more emphasis and put myself out there more when it came to my coaching.
Okay, that sounds very cool. So related to that, and it can be the same thing or it can be something different, is there one or two or three business or life decisions that you've made that worked out super positive? I mean, they're awesome. They are. You look back and you remember your life. You remember everything before that and everything after that at the dividing point. Do you have one or two, or just one of those that you'd share with us?
It's actually similar timing. It is that transition period where I set out to become a coach and be an entrepreneur and create a different lifestyle that I had. So I set this vision for myself, and I knew it would be a bit into the future. And I got really clear on who I was, who I wanted to be, my foundation, right? My strengths, my values. And I always kept that vision in mind, as well as understanding my foundation. And then I just let the path unfold before me and trust the timing. So I really thought, after I received 2 certifications in coaching, I was going to quit my day job in 3 to 6 months. And what happened instead was the recession hit. But I didn't stop. I kept that vision in mind, and I was really clear again on my foundation. And I just kept evaluating, how do I get closer to the vision? How do I keep going? And it really unfolded in the best timing and in the best way meaning my business grew at a pace that felt really good to me. I got
Mm-hmm.
good results. My business was profitable every year and built every year, grew every year. So when I look back, I'm grateful that I held on to my vision and I was clear on who I was and what I wanted, even and especially during a transition or a tough time where I could have easily let that go.
Yeah, for sure. So, and the next question kind of relates to that. And those are big decisions for a lot of people. For me, I mean, they are as well, making career change like that, especially in a downturn or in the Great Recession, as they called it. People, when they come upon those decisions, sometimes will hesitate. And hesitation can turn into being stuck. And so they don't know what to do. They retrench, they stay there. Do you have tips or techniques that you use for big or little decisions like that, whenever you come upon something like that, that keeps you moving, that gets you unstuck, that you'd share?
Absolutely. I have these 3 tips that I always go back to. I've used it for, to your point, big and small situations where I felt stuck, and I share it with my clients. And I even have this tip sheet as on my, if you sign up for my newsletter, you would get it. But here are the 3 tips in a nutshell. Number 1, make sure you're going after a want to, not a have to. And the way I really describe this is to just make sure that if you are pursuing something, a project or a decision you need to make sure it's connected to the deeper reason why you're doing it, right? If you don't see the value in pursuing this task, you won't be excited to do it, right? It's really hard to convince yourself. So get really clear on why it's important to you. In other words, how can it honor one of your deep values? And just a quick example in my life that I used is I used to not love writing my marketing newsletter. And I know as a business person, I need to market myself.
Yeah, you got to do that.
18 years in marketing taught me something. That was it, right? So I'll be honest, it didn't always feel that great to do it. But when I connected, because it felt a little sleazy, right? Like I have to market myself. But when I connected with the deeper reason why, which was really to share nuggets of information with my clients and potential clients and family and friends, I got super excited about writing the newsletter. Then I was motivated. So that's one tip. The other is so simple, but it works every time. Take one baby step toward your goal or the project. The teeniest, tiniest step, right? And again, all of these are based on neuroscience, but this one is really just, if your brain thinks it's too much or too daunting, you're going to shut down. But if you keep it very small, as you probably know, right? Your brain it's not alerted. It thinks, oh, I can just do this one thing. And if I go back to my newsletter example, I would do the same thing. I know it's going to take a few hours to write one, so it can feel, like I said, daunting. But if I break it down and I just say, I'm going to write one sentence, or believe it or not, early on, before I was excited to do these newsletters, I would even just read someone else's newsletter who inspired me. And then little by little, I'm being honest, what's the next step? Okay, I'll write a sentence and so forth, and just keep asking yourself that. And then the third step is, I think, one of the best. It's make it fun. So if you're setting out to do something that doesn't feel exciting to do at first, because let's be honest, sometimes there are things we just have to do, right? I don't love preparing for my taxes, but I have to do it. So basically, a lot of times the pain of doing something outweighs the pain of not doing it, and you won't get into action. But if we could flip it, right, and somehow minimize that pain, for example, it could be as simple as getting your favorite latte or even another favorite beverage you might have and saying, I'm going to sit down, write my newsletter, work on my taxes, or whatever that might be. What happens is then you're starting to create a new association with that task.
Okay.
And positive association.
I really love the second step you mentioned, because I use that when I get stuck in writing copy. So like the newsletter you were talking about, an email sequence or something like that. What I've found is if I just do something, even if it's a little thing. And so what I've started doing is I'll just write. It doesn't even have to make any sense. I'll write my name over and over and over, and eventually it will start to come. So, I mean, I am very much in line with number 2 for that. Okay, super. Thank you very much for that. And now to kind of roll it all together a little bit is, if for whatever reason, and I don't know, I mean, COVID's as good a reason as any, I guess, but something happens and you have to start over. Would you keep going down the path you're going? Would you do something different? What would you do if you were looking at a clean slate? You could start from scratch, knowing what you know, having the resources you've got. What would you do?
I'm going to say do it the same. And I say that because it all sort of worked out. And by that, just a quick version is I studied psychology at Northwestern University. That was my major because the study of the human mind fascinated me before I even ever heard of coaching. Then I ended up, but I also love being creative and some related to artistic endeavors. So when I heard about marketing and advertising, I thought, oh, that could be a beautiful combination, right? Study of the human mind, the consumer mindset with the artistic side. At least I get to work with amazing creatives. And I was lucky enough to do that, work with creatives who worked on McDonald's, Anheuser Busch, I mean, amazing people. And then I heard about coaching. And I didn't know about that when I was younger, but think about that. That's also really understanding how the human mind works. And therapy and psychology can be the study of, healing wounds, but coaching is about bringing you forward. And it was just a great build for me to take all of my 18 years of business experience, along with my psychology background, and go into coaching. And by the way, it really helps to know how to market your business, right? So as I became, it sort of worked out perfectly in that, and it's really, again, what I help my clients do is it worked out in the sense that I got to know myself better, what I really wanted, and that kept unfolding. I created a vision for it, and I ended up dissolving those negative thoughts that were getting in my way. So when I look back, I feel like the path I took really was the most helpful path. Didn't do everything perfectly, but who does? And I really had the mindset that I would learn from any, obstacles or mishaps that happened along the way.
Okay. So you do coaching. I mean, you'd keep going where you're going.
Yeah, I love it. I love my clients. I get to market my business now, and I'm partnering with an amazing social media agency, and I get to have the creative process of building my brand and expressing it to my clients. So again, I have I think a nice combination of psychology and artistic expression. Just looks a little bit different this time.
And sounds awesome, by the way.
Oh, thanks.
Rosie, thank you very, very much for sharing. Thank you for being here. Time to wrap up, but I want to see if there's anything that you wanted to close with, and if you had anything that you could offer the listeners and viewers that might benefit them.
Sure. Like I said, if you sign up for my newsletter, you can get those 3 tips on procrastination, but I also have another free, simple guide that's 4 steps to reduce your anxiety in just 2 minutes. And I know that may sound overly simple, but I take you through these 4 steps in such a way that I notice my high achievers, they may feel that low level of anxiety in their lives. This is a quick way to mitigate that, and then you can get back on track to moving towards your goals. So happy to offer that up.
Okay, super. And I will make sure that all of that information is in the show notes and in the description where we post the audio and video. So again, thank you very, very much. Thanks everybody for listening in. Have a safe and productive week, and be the very best at whatever you are doing. Until next time, this is Tad Stevens with Micro Success Secrets. Bye for now.
Bye.